At the time of this recording, I'm 45 years old, and if I could go back to my 20-year-old self and give him some advice on how to make it in the music industry and get to my goals faster, this is what I would say. My name's Chris, also known as the Artist Manifest. I've been doing music full-time for over 20 years. I have about 500,000 monthly listeners, and I love coaching artists. Let's jump into this. First thing I'd say is to understand taxes. Taxes are our second biggest expense in life, especially income taxes. I remember when I got my first job as a computer guy and I was making all this money, or what I thought was a lot of money, and I was still living at home, dating my girlfriend. And I remember all of a sudden at the end of the year, I had to file taxes, which I didn't even understand. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll file my taxes, give it to my, father-in-law to be, and he does my taxes. And I end up getting this $13,000 tax bill. And that's because I didn't write off my car. I didn't write off my food, my travel, my phone, so many different things I didn't know about, and I was ignorant about it, and it cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. Another time, years later, I remember we re-signed a record label, even though my wife now told me, don't do it. And I wish we didn't, but we did get a pretty good advance, which was like over $60,000. And we took like a massive chunk of that, like almost 90% of that, and just paid down our mortgage. And the problem is that money was in our corporate account. It was in our business. That's where it was earned. And as soon as I withdraw that personally, I was taxed at a way higher rate, a lot higher than whatever the small interest I was getting charged on the mortgage. So I wish we just maybe took a smaller amount out and did maybe a lump sum payment and then not got taxed so much, and maybe bought some property, reinvested it back into my music business. So learn taxes. Number 2 is, I'd say, don't quit your job so fast to pursue a music career. Stay at your job and take all that money and keep investing it into your music career, which is what I was doing, and it was great. And I had all this money to pay producers, do marketing, get the website, run ads, whatever it was, right? But I wanted to do music full-time so bad, even though I was really technically only working 3-4 days a week, but I wanted to be doing music full-time. And so the problem is, I got signed thinking I was going to be this rock rap star and all this money would come in from music. But what I did was I totally killed an income stream before building the second one. I assumed and thought and hoped that, I'd make all this money with the music, but I hadn't yet. And so never kill one income stream before you've really built the other one, and that the other one is just happening automatically, because we went 30,000 plus into debt. I talk about the whole thing in my book Fighter and how we had to dig ourselves out. Number 3 is focusing on songwriting and writing more hit songs. Hit songs have been the foundation of not just my music career, but every artist's music career, right? Like really having those hit songs allow you to open and go through doors that normally money or anything else can't open. Like it opened touring opportunities for me, radio, streams, and so many more relationships because I had a hit song that was just undeniable, right? Like there's certain relationships and things that money just can't buy, but a hit song will open that door. So I learned to work with A-level producers and songwriters and whatever it was I could do to make my songs better, because once I had tasted a hit song at radio, streaming, editorial playlist, I was like, wow, it just made the marketing and everything else easier. So it wasn't writing more songs, but it was writing better songs and just really trying to get that hit, because then everything else came so much easier. Number 4, I wish I did more collaborations and focused on relationships instead of looking at those collaborations as competitors. I had a pretty big ego, even though I'm a Christian rock hip hop artist. Sometimes we are like, oh, I'll do it alone. I'll do it by myself. But you got to understand, some things money just can't buy, and it can't buy relationships. You have to invest in them. So spending more time connecting with people, sending a text, hey, I'm thinking about you, and just giving instead of always looking to get, right? Like at a relationship, it's like you want to give, right? And just don't ask for anything, right? And so that when it comes time, when maybe you do need something, that like, hey, you've got some investments in that relationship instead of always looking to take. So I wish I spent more time developing those relationships instead of always going it on my own. Because as that proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So build relationships. Number 5 is take care of your health. You can't hustle if you're burnt out, and health is the real wealth of any entrepreneur. We sacrifice our health for success, and then we use all our success and our money to repair our health and buy it back again. So beware of what you put in this body and getting sleep and getting rest. Number 6 is don't sell out. And what I mean is so many artists, they really hustle, they do their thing, and they have success with their record. And then it comes time to put out the second record. And they feel all this pressure or whatnot, and they feel like they've got to cross over and go pop and make a more poppier sounding record to chase radio or something like that. And there's this story of Adele who had made her whole record 25, and then she played it for Rick Rubin to get some feedback. And he was like, hey man, I think you need to go deeper and be more authentic. And he challenged her to write something else. And so she trashed that whole record to write her next record, which had Hello on it and some massive, huge singles. And I personally relate to this because I had an album that popped off and we sold like 50,000 plus albums in radio success. And then the next album, I started to go a different direction. And I'll never forget a fan posting a comment that said, hey man, you were really onto something with this one song that like really did well for us. Why did you change? You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, man, why did I not just continue doing what works? My mentor says, when you find something that works, I don't get bored with it. I get paid with it. Number 7 is don't respond to trolls and the haters. Everybody wants to go viral until it happens and you have success. And not only do all the positive comments come, but also the negative ones. And it's so tempting to want to respond and give your peace of mind and tell people off. But I'm telling you, that just turns into this spiral of negativity. If you got to, turn off the comments. We did this cover song of Stressed Out by 21 Pilots, and it did really well for us. And there's this one post that just took off, but we got all these comments of negativity and love. And it got to the point where it's the first time ever I just turned the comments off. And as much as we got, I think hundreds and if not thousands of shares, which was great, but there was also that negative part too. And so you just got to be aware that you got to be able to handle the success and handle the haters. And the best thing to do is just ignore them, turn the comments off, and just focus on what you are called to do and let them worry about them. Number 8 is don't self-sabotage. Les Brown says you can't shrink into greatness, you have to stretch. And it's Abraham Lincoln who says, I will prepare and my opportunity will come. Well, you've been working so hard as an artist, getting your streams up, writing better songs, and then all of a sudden an opportunity is presented to you. Maybe it's a big manager, maybe it's a label, maybe it's a collaboration or a sync deal or just some opportunity, and you freeze and you're not ready to take the full jump because you're scared. Well, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and you can't let fear sabotage you from taking the next step. This is what I did. So many times I got cold feet when a certain manager, someone wanted to work with me, and I had to make the decision to cut off my past and move forward. He who insulates himself from risk also insulates himself from reward. You've got to take risks. Yeah, you get lawyers to look over it. You pray about it, and then you make a decision and you move forward, because what got you here won't get you there. And so something has to change. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and again and expect different results. So if you want a different result, that means you have to do something new. And that normally is in the presence of a new opportunity. So don't be afraid to step out in faith, my friend. Number 9 is to stay away from drugs and alcohol. A man or woman will do things when they're drunk that they would never do or say when they're sober. Earl Grey tea has never given me a hangover, but I'm serious. Look for things, natural things that can give you that high. Instead of even the chocolate bar or the drink, go for a walk, go for a run, go to the gym. I started to take cold showers, which is just known to give you more clarity and oxygen intake in your body and just gives you that snap of focus to go after your dreams. Stay away from the alcohol, the drugs, and even the medications. Number 10, go to bed early. Me and my wife, we set up boundaries around our marriage so that we can now say we've been married for over 20 plus years. And that's because, I know that deals and relationships don't have to be built just at the parties late at night. Like as Grant Cardone says, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. And I can build relationships earlier at breakfast, at lunch, at dinner. I don't need to party just so I can do a deal. And normally that's where trouble happens. And so go to bed early. Wake up early, do your goals, do your dreams, and have that regimented schedule. You'll thank me for it. Number 11 is patience. The music industry is known for hurry up and then wait. And we always want our dreams to happen so fast. That's why I quit my job and actually pursued music a little too fast. Well, there's another time where I had this opportunity to work with a really big manager who could open up a ton of doors for me. And he had already started shopping my album and he was chatting with me and we were starting to build this relationship. But of course, I was getting impatient and I was talking to another manager who was giving me a little bit more attention. But one manager was an A-level manager. The other manager was a B-level. And you got to understand that is a huge difference in the relationships, the connections, and the doors that they can open. Well, because this one manager was showing me so much attention, and we love attention as artists, right? We're like, oh, well, they want to help me and they got time. Well, the other manager was willing to give me time, but he just couldn't give me as much. But guess what? His little bit of time that he could give me could open up so many more doors that this other manager just couldn't. But I was too impatient, and I signed with the B-level manager that ended up flopping, and then I ended up hurting this other relationship that now ended up didn't work out because I had wasted his time. And this is so you have, and so the lesson here is you got to learn to be patient. As much as you got to take action and keep moving things forward, which I could have, there's so many things I could have been working on and moving forward while I was waiting to hear back. We think we're like going to miss out and we get this FOMO and we end up making these rash decisions that end up hurting our music career. So be patient, but still keep taking action. Number 12 is forgiveness, which allows you to free your heart from grudges so you can focus on growth. How many times has someone hurt us and we just hold it in? And sure, that hurt or whatever, that could be a great song, but it's not something you want to hold on to for a long time. And how many people have you and I hurt, right? We've hurt someone, we made mistakes, and we've asked for forgiveness. And just like the Bible says, if we want to be forgiven of our sins, we got to forgive other people as well. And that'll just allow peace to be in our heart to move forward and love people and allow doors to keep opening for us. Number 13 is buy more real estate. That's right, man. If you're even touring or whatnot, you could be renting out your place or Airbnb-ing it. Land is the only thing they're not making more of. And I have never met anyone that says, oh, I wish I didn't buy so much real estate. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, don't sell. I'll never forget, I read this book that talked about these people that they would buy a house, they would move into it, they'd live in it for a while, and then instead of selling it, they would rent it, and then they would move into the next one. They'd live in that one for a while. Instead of selling it, they would rent it, and then all of a sudden they had all this other income streams coming in. And as the Warren Buffett quote goes, if you don't learn to make money in your sleep, you'll work until you die. Number 14 is charge higher prices. When you learn how much you're worth, you'll stop giving discounts. And if you undervalue what you do, the world will undervalue who you are. People don't see a higher price, they see higher value. But for some reason, we get into this poverty mindset of thinking, oh, I got to have lower prices. No, it's because sometimes we're cheap, but other people are not, and they will spend more money with you. I wish I charged more for shows, for merch, for features, for everything I did, and people will see higher value, not higher prices. And of course, you've got to deliver. Number 15, done is better than perfect. Start your dream sooner and faster. If you don't work hard to make your dreams a reality, then you're going to be employed by someone to work on their dreams. So it's either you figure it out and keep working on your dream during the late nights, the early mornings, the lunch breaks. You make time to work on your dream, get it out there, get started, stop procrastinating, because procrastination is the assassination of our dreams, right? And so we want to take action today. Get started. Number 16 is surround yourself with other like-minded individuals, whether that's masterminds, coaches, other successful artists. And I know it can be intimidating going into these rooms where you feel like you're the least successful person, but that's where you stretch and that's where you learn. Sometimes people say if you're the smartest person in the room, it's time to change rooms. So maybe it's time to change friends, and get that negative people out of your life. They might not see where you can go. They see where you are today because of your past, but they don't know your future. They don't know that Jeremiah 29:11 says that God's got a plan for you to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future. Like, you've got dreams, you've got these things, you got talent, you got a calling on your life, and you can't let haters, you can't let old friends who knew you back then, but they don't know the new person you are now because of the books you read, the courses you've taken, and the new mindset that you have for success. It's okay to cut some people off. Not everybody is meant to stay. If you've enjoyed this video, I encourage you to check out our coaching program called Fanbase University, where I go live every single week coaching you one-on-one. It's an awesome accountability program. As soon as you join, either me or someone else is going to reach out to you. And if you join the annual, you also get a one-on-one call with me. And I look forward to working with you on your music career. Peace.